Have you ever read something that changed your life? Some books are worth their weight in gold and can be clear inflection points in your life. Today I'll share with you 3 books that contain knowledge that could truly transform your life. All of these books personally impacted my life, but number 3 put me on a totally new path to becoming who I am today. The first book I recommend is Crucial Conversations: Tools for Talking When Stakes Are High. Crucial conversations are those that have opposing opinions, strong emotions, and high stakes. The core message of this book is to reject the fool's choice, which is thinking that you have to choose between true honesty and keeping a positive relationship. In order to reject the fool's choice, the book outlines a third method, which is creating an internal and external environment that is safe to talk openly, productively, and honestly about difficult situations. Just one of the dozens of frameworks introduced in this book is the acronym STATE, which are the 5 key skills that you need to navigate these crucial conversations in your life. The first 3 skills are what to do, and the last 2 are how to do it. The S stands for share your facts. The first step should always be to share your objective facts, which are the least likely to be controversial or insulting and often are the most persuasive. The goal here is to help them understand your perspective, factual observations rather than emotions. Next, the first T is tell your story. If the simple facts are not enough to clear the air, then tell your true, honest story exactly as it is. Make sure that you're being respectful and creating a safe environment while still being honest and not apologizing for your story. After this is A, which is ask for others' paths. After or even before giving your own story, it's crucial to ask honestly for other people's perspectives. The goal here is to expand the pool of meaning, so that way everyone can understand each other. Now that we've covered what to do, let's move on to how to do it. The second T is talk tentatively. When you're telling your story, make sure that it comes off as such, a story, not purely hard facts. Make it obvious that you aren't absolutely certain of your particular position while still being confident in your own perspective. An example of using this type of language could be turning "you don't trust anyone" into "I'm starting to believe that you don't trust me." The key here is confidence mixed with humility. Lastly, E is for encourage testing. The key here is that when inviting opposing opinions, you have to truly mean it. Some language that I like to include here includes "what am I missing here?" as well as playing devil's advocate and assuming that the opposite of your perspective is true. Hopefully, by sharing your facts, telling your story, and asking for others' paths, while talking tentatively and encouraging testing, you can skillfully navigate any crucial conversation that comes your way. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to make a full deep dive video on this book, as there are dozens of gems of knowledge and frameworks that I didn't get to cover here. In the meantime, if you're like me and talk with a lot of people every day in your job, or just want to communicate more effectively with your loved ones, I highly recommend that you read this book. The second book for a better life is Little Book of Common Sense Investing, the only way to guarantee your fair share of stock market returns. It was written by the founder of Vanguard, John C. Bogle, who also invented the first ever index fund. An index fund is a portfolio of assets, like stocks or bonds, that aim to mimic the composition and performance of a financial market index. Tangibly, what this means is that through an index fund, you wouldn't need to buy shares in just Amazon or Tesla. You could buy shares in the entirety of the publicly traded US economy. The book discusses an approach that applies the principle of Occam's razor to the stock market and has had immense success over the years. A simplified definition of Occam's razor is that the explanation or strategy that requires the fewest number of assumptions is usually the correct one. So rather than obsessively focusing on all of the individual stocks, growth ETFs, mutual funds, options, and everything else in between, why not just own everything? A quote that I love here is, "Don't look for the needle, buy the haystack." On top of the simplicity of this method, it's also the best proven long-term financial strategy. Index funds are the lowest cost investments around, and it's important to remember that costs compound just like interest does. Wall Street wants you to choose fancy investment options with higher fees because they get commissions, not to help you better. Additionally, most actively managed mutual funds that charge higher fees actually do worse over time than a passive index fund. The goal of investing with this strategy is to earn your fair share of what all businesses produce while minimizing any compounding costs. If you do this, you'll be able to gain very good financial benefits while expending minimal effort. Generally, on one's first journey into finances, it's very easy to just get sucked into whatever the new shiny thing is. The issue here is reversion to the mean. Yesterday's winners are tomorrow's losers. Don't invest in risky trends, just follow the mean as it rises. John also discusses various retirement fund strategies to make sure that you have a secure, large nest egg for when you stop working. This is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial expert, but John certainly was. This book is exceptionally easy to read, even for those who are not financially literate. Investing just a small amount today is way better than nothing. Before I reveal the final book that truly impacted my life, I kindly ask that if you've gained any value from this video, that you please do subscribe. This is a tiny channel, and it would truly mean the world if I've earned the 2 seconds or so it takes to subscribe. The last book for a better life is one that truly put me on a new path, that being Atomic Habits. In this book, James Clear dives into what habits are, the science as to why they're so powerful, and the art of using habit systems to empower your life. This knowledge profoundly changed my life, as consistency and habit optimization have become cornerstones for who I am today. Habits are some of the most powerful tools that you have to create impactful changes in your life. For instance, let's say that you practice a new skill like 3D modeling for just 30 minutes a day. It's pretty easy to just get 1% better in 30 minutes, right? So let's say you did exactly that and got only 1% better each and every day for a year. After that year, how much better at 3D modeling would you be? 3 times better? 5 times better? 10 times better? How about 37 times better at that new skill? This compounding effect, which is why small actions done consistently and repeatedly over time, called habits, are so powerful. While I can't impart all of the wisdom from this book in this short video, I can give you a brief overview of what James Clear calls the 4 laws of creating lasting habits. This is done through perfecting the cue, craving, response, and reward cycle. Firstly, you need to make it obvious. All habits have a cue for you to perform them. For instance, if I wanted to start a reading habit, I could set a bunch of different reminders on my phone during times of the day I knew I'd be available to read. Next, you must make it attractive. A key way that I like to create craving for doing a positive habit and making it more attractive is through habit stacking. Let's say that I have an established habit of journaling every day. I can stack reading on top of that, so that way after journaling each and every day, I always read. This will link those habits together and eventually create a craving after my journaling to always read. Third, you must make it easy by reducing the amount of situational friction it takes to get you to do this response or positive habit. In this example, I would need to make sure that my favorite books are where I often find myself journaling. This makes sure that there's never any friction to just picking up a book and starting to read. Lastly, you must make it satisfying by rewarding yourself after you complete these positive habits. My favorite way of doing this is through habit tracking. All you need to do is just keep track of when you do these habits. That's it. This method is super simple and quick, but extremely effective. The little hit of dopamine that you get when you just check off that box each and every day can literally be the most motivating thing for continuing that habit. These 4 laws of making it obvious, making it attractive, making it easy, and making it satisfying should help you put a system in place to creating the positive habits that you desire in your life. As James Clear writes, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Today, I overviewed books about improving your relationships with others, strengthening your financial well-being, and achieving your goals through forming positive habits. But what about finding personal freedom and happiness? To address this, I made a deep dive video into exactly what 4 ancient guiding principles you need to follow in order to get there. Find out what these 4 principles are and what steps to take towards happiness and freedom in the video on your screen now. I'll see you there.